Gus Lazarus, and I'm a recent graduate of the class of 2010. Tonight I have the great pleasure of introducing to you tonight's keynote speaker, Student Body President Heath Ingram. Heath and I grew up together over in Maineville, Ohio, and we've been friends ever since grade school. We both graduated from King's High School, and where, by what I'm sure now, were several hanging chads and cases of voter confusion, we were named back-to-back prom kings. What you'll probably find most interesting about my relationship with Heath is that I was actually there at the exact moment, the exact second that his political future began. And this was back when Heath was in junior high school, and I had enlisted him to come and help in my dad's campaign. He was running for county commissioner in Warren County. And our first task was to go to what was called the Deerfield Township Festival and walk person to person, shake hands, and make a plug, for my dad. And so no sooner had I explained these pretty simple instructions to Heath than he was off, working the crowd, shaking hands, about 12 years old. And by the end of the day, all these three groups of people were coming up and saying that, my dad had secured their vote because of Heath, what Heath had said. And I thought this was a great thing until, we were thinking about it. We said, at no point did we really explain to Heath what any of the platforms or positions were for my dad's campaign. So I really had no idea at 12 years old what he had promised all of these things. But it did give me hope that going down the road, he actually did have some issues that he was passionate about, what he could really do when he had some substance behind him. So over the years since then, I've watched Heath his ability grow as a leader. First as our high school student body president, where he was instrumental in passing an important school levy and where he implemented a interesting recycling program that still is in effect today over at our high school. Then I saw him come to Miami, where he served as a student senator, and in his first year was named Senator of the Year for the Associated Student Government. Then he moved on and accepted an appointment by Governor Ted Strickland, where he served as the student representative on the Miami Board of Student Trustees. And then most recently, Heath has been serving as your student body president, where I know from my many conversations with him, he's been working tirelessly on specifically the Armstrong Student Center project. I know that it's been Heath's honor to serve you all over these many years. And with that, it is now my honor and my distinct pleasure to introduce to you my friend and your student body president, Heath Ingram.
Astounded by the turnout. I really appreciate everybody's dedication and willingness to come listen to me talk for a little while. Hopefully it won't be too long, but I can't make any promises, especially those of you who know me personally. I tend to talk for quite a long time. So with that being said, thank you and welcome to this year's State of the Student Body Address. I'm thrilled to be here. I'm absolutely thrilled to have the opportunity to talk to you about some of the things that I think are most important to Miami and Miami's future. So with that, I can start by saying the state of Miami University's student body is certainly strong, and it is only getting stronger. Our university has a lot to be proud of this year, as we have received many national rankings and great recognition for a myriad of exceptional accomplishments. The U.S. News and World Report has ranked our university number 2 in the nation for undergraduate teaching. The quality of our education has been recognized as outstanding by high school counselors across the country, and our 4-year graduation rate is superb. Individual students, student athletes, and student organizations all across campus are working hard to increase our university's reputation and add to our university's successes. One individual student who I'd like to stand and be recognized is Benjamin Schwartz. Is he here tonight? Benjamin Schwartz? Well, that's unfortunate. Benjamin Schwartz was awarded the Beckman Scholarship for his work and his research in developmental genetics. I do know that Harrison King, Senior Harrison King, is here tonight. Harrison, would you please stand and be recognized? Thank you, Harrison. Harrison is a senior, and he has been selected for the Carnegie Junior Fellows Program by the Carnegie Endowment for International Peace, one of the world's leading think tanks and specializing in international affairs. He is one of about 10 students nationwide offered this fellowship. Former Panhellenic Council President Larissa Spreng is with us tonight, and she will postpone her medical schooling to serve our nation's K-12 education system as a member of the Teach for America Corps. Larissa, could you please stand and be recognized? Senior Sarah Cornett will be working on a health extension program in the Central South American region of the world for the Peace Corps, and she will work for the Peace Corps for, I believe, 2 years. Sarah, could you please stand and recognize? I know a lot of other students who are doing a lot of things to bring glory to Miami, and I can't recognize them all. But we know that individual students from all demographics in Miami are working hard through their dedication to academic excellence, their dedication to public service, to bring respect and attention to Miami. Our athletic teams continue to dominate the playing field. So earlier this year, who can forget the thrilling win at the GoDaddy.com Bowl? I would like to recognize as well as our collegiate synchronized skating team with Emily Sullivan and Sarah Brown. They are co-captains of the synchronized skating team, and they have settled on their unprecedented 7th straight national title, and they've captured gold for the 13th time in program history, and they will be going on, at least the senior team will be going on to compete in the World Championship. So Emily and Sarah, please stand for that. Our hockey team has once again been nothing short of remarkable. We have Matt Tomasoni and Will Weber from the hockey team with us tonight. Could you both please stand and be recognized for your outstanding season? These gentlemen helped our team win the CCHA Tournament Championship and also Miami's first ever Mason Cup. I know that our hockey team will continue its excellent program. While I do not have the time to recognize the accomplishments of all our athletic programs, I do want to highlight the amazing work that some of our student athletes have been doing. I also want to talk about how exceptionally hardworking our athletes are both inside and out of the classroom. Under the visionary leadership of Athletic Director Brad Bates, Miami athletes have truly developed what they call their culture of champions. Our athletes maintain great grade point averages, they excel in all areas of academia, and hold one another to standards that are higher than common athletic programs. I believe that there is nothing common at all about Miami athletics. We have a lot to look forward to for the rest of the spring, and I am confident that our athletes will continue to develop themselves in ways that other athletic programs can only envy. Miami's 400-plus student organizations have also been working hard to bring prestige to our university. Miami's mock trial team is once again competing for a national championship. It's their 10th year anniversary since their last national championship, although they have been competing for the national title several times since then. If members of the mock trial team who are here tonight, Bradley Wambo, James Sire, could please stand and be recognized for their outstanding work. I wish the mock trial team the best of luck as they head to Des Moines, Iowa to compete again for the national championship. Miami's forensic team has been competing with great success in national tournaments. The Glee Club continues to entertain audiences across the country. And I would also like to point out Les Walk for Haiti, which is a student organization that is working to fight the cholera pandemic in the nation of Haiti by providing water filtration devices, rehydration packets, and educational materials to help stop the spread of cholera. Jonathan Lawson, co-president of the organization, would you please stand and be recognized? Student organizations and the co-curricular experience at Miami is clearly one of Miami's core pillars. In a few years, student organizations and the student body they serve will be able to enjoy a new state-of-the-art facility, the Armstrong Student Center. The Armstrong Student Center will do nothing short of transform the co-curricular experience at Miami. Student organizations will be able to interact and engage with one another at a level never before experienced here. Students today can hardly imagine what it would be like to have their student experience without the recreational sports center. I argue that the students of tomorrow will not be able to understand what it would be like to have their Miami experience without the Armstrong Student Center. It is remarkable to think that the first Miami Credit Union, the Arabic Club, the Miami University Student Foundation, or better known as USEC, Habitat for Humanity, Spectrum, the Black Student Action Association, and the Miami Student Newspaper will all be centralized in one location in the same building. Through providing a headquarters for student leadership and restoring a place for campus community, the Armstrong Student Center will bring Miami students together at the heart of campus. It will provide much-needed study spaces for small group meetings and large student events. It will provide the resources necessary to support the students of today and their 24/7 lifestyles. Students will welcome the improved dining options, the availability of large multi-purpose rooms for events, and it will certainly add to the beauty of that area of campus, as you can see from this stunning artistic rendition. The building will be managed by a governing board of students, so that students will no longer have to compete with faculty, community members, and administrators for the large multi-purpose event spaces around campus, such as what we have at Shriver Center or Hall Auditorium. While we're on the subject of the Armstrong Student Center, I would like to take some time to clear up a few misconceptions about the funding of this building that have been permeating campus. The Armstrong Student Center will be funded in part by a small increase from the student fee, as well as from donations from our alumni. No money is being taken from the academic side of the budget to pay for this building's construction. The administration is supporting the cultivation of donations for both scholarships and for this building. I am confident that this building will be the hallmark of the Miami experience and will define future generations of Miamians. I believe that the Armstrong Student Center will play a pivotal role in helping Miami remain competitive. Online universities and even other traditional four-year institutions of higher education cannot compete with Miami's capacity to develop what I call the whole person. The Armstrong Student Center will provide students with the ability to take what they learn in the classroom and apply it to real-world projects. That, in and of itself, is an incredible asset for our institution. Ensuring Miami's ability to remain competitive has been a theme during my time as president. I do not see that concern dissipating in the near future. In the spring of 2010, President Hodge created the Strategic Priorities Task Force and charged it with identifying over $40 million in cost savings and new revenue sources for Miami. All of the task force's 36 recommendations will affect the student experience at Miami in some way. The implementation of these recommendations will undoubtedly be painful. It is one endeavor to identify what changes need to be made. However, it takes an even stronger effort to ensure these changes are executed. The next few years will be tough for Miami, but I believe in President Hodge's leadership, and I believe in his vision for Miami. And I know that our institution will be stronger, healthier, and more competitive once this process is concluded. While all 36 of the task force's recommendations will affect the student body in some way, I would like to spend some time focusing on recommendation number 31. Recommendation number 31 asks Associated Student Government to review its student organization funding process. This year we have experienced record-breaking funding requests. In 2 of our 3 cycles of funding, we've had requests for funding that far exceed our capacity. During Cycle 1 funding, we had 165 student organizations request over $700,000 in funding. In Cycle 2, we had 151 student organizations request over $600,000 in funding. And as you can see, we are struggling to fund even half of that. These staggering figures serve as evidence of the declining availability of funding for student organizations. More and more, students are relying on Associated Student Government as a primary source of funding. In an effort to respond to Recommendation 31, we have adopted new policies that I hope and I believe will be more equitable for the student body. Our decision not to fund student organizations that are also receiving academic credit for their work has generated a significant level of debate around campus. The decision was made because we believe that student fee money should not be used to directly or indirectly subsidize another student's education, especially if that student organization is already receiving money from an academic department. In other words, student fee money should not be used to help a few students complete their graduation requirements, but rather, it should be used to support initiatives that benefit the entire student body. In the long run, Recommendation 31, along with the task force's other recommendations, will help make Miami a stronger institution. The quicker we can come together as a community to help make these recommendations a reality, the more quickly we'll be able to realize the benefits from them. Now, I'm proud to say that Associated Student Government has been working diligently to better the student experience at Miami. Earlier this year, we passed a resolution encouraging the administration to reevaluate the academic calendar. Specifically, I believe the administration should eliminate fall break and extend Thanksgiving break so that our growing international student population and our out-of-state student population can have an opportunity to go home and interact with their families. We also passed legislation providing students an opportunity, or rather student organizations an opportunity to show off their events during a spring showcase in the spring. ASG's Campus Activities Council planned a great homecoming celebration, and for the first time in CAC's history, partnered with Miami's Office of Alumni Affairs to better coordinate programs between current students and Miami alums during the homecoming celebrations. The Diversity Affairs Council planned a global holiday party, which is very well attended and well received. And of course, I couldn't give a State of the Student Body address without giving a shout out to the Residence Hall Association's annual Red Hot Hunt, which has won numerous awards as one of the best student-run programs in the nation. Of course, I would also be remiss if I didn't take time to thank a group of student leaders who helped make my campaign platform and goals for ASG reality. If members of the Associated Student Government's Executive Board could rise and be recognized for all the hard work that you do each day for Miami. These students sitting here dedicate their time, energy, and resources to improving the Miami student experience. Although few students know how hard this executive board works, without them, students would not be able to take advantage of all the opportunities they have available to take to Miami. And of course, they put up with all my stuff, so I really appreciate that. In addition to these Associated Student Government initiatives, we have been hard at work implementing my campaign promise to enhance the value of the Miami degree. This time last year, Student Body Vice President and I sat down and put our heads together to figure out how we really could substantively improve Miami. What could we do to actually make a difference on this campus? We came up with what is now known as the Miami Legacy Initiative. The Miami Legacy Initiative encompasses several pieces of legislation that are designed to engender incoming Miami students with a better understanding of Miami's history and traditions, as well as what it means to be a Miamian while they are students here and after graduation. There are three components to the Miami Legacy Initiative. The first is the creation of a Secretary of Alumni Affairs. Earlier this year, we created the Secretary of Alumni Affairs of the Associated Student Government, and this position is primarily responsible with engendering incoming Miami students with an expectation of what it means to be a Miami alumnus after they graduated. It also is responsible for helping ASG alumni connect with ASG and helping other student organizations develop ways to reconnect with their alums. We believe that this will help students have an even better experience here and provide opportunities for alumni to reconnect with Miami after they've graduated. The second component of the Miami Legacy Initiative is the reevaluation of first and second year programming to ensure they incorporate programming designed to teach incoming Miami students about our university's history and traditions. In addition to educating first and second year students about Miami's past, these programs should also expose Miami students to successful alumni and help them make the most of their time as students. Now that the university requires first and second year students to live on campus, we have an excellent opportunity to provide them with programming to help them learn more about Miami so they may enjoy their time and appreciate their time on campus while they are here for 4 years. The third and final component of the Miami Legacy Initiative calls for the creation of a new course. This new course is designed to help first and second year students with the skill, this new course is designed to help teach incoming first and second year students with the skills and information they need to succeed while in college. For example, this course can teach students about test-taking strategies, the benefits of taking a course credit, no credit, study abroad programs, time management, how to engage in undergraduate research, and other self-development opportunities in general. The course will likely be a 1 credit hour elective course that offers first and second year students who have freshman or sophomore standing an opportunity to take it. And there is certainly some opportunity to teach Miami students about Miami during this course as well. I believe that the Miami Legacy Initiative works to address a critical need for our university. The need to educate incoming Miami students about the university they're going to become a part of. Currently, the administration does little to help teach incoming students about Miami. We briefly talk about Miami's past and traditions during orientation, and again at convocation. However, I do not believe that is enough. That is the last time we bring up the importance of honoring our university until graduation day. The Miami Legacy Initiative works to educate Miami students about Miami's storied past, and help them appreciate their time even more as students here. I believe this is incredibly important because it helps engender a sense of pride and respect for Miami from day one of their Miami experience. Our students do develop an enormous amount of pride for Miami, but I believe that pride generally doesn't take hold until the end of their Miami experience or towards the end of their career here. The Miami Legacy Initiative is designed to develop that pride, love, and respect for Miami from the earliest days of the student's experience and help it make it last for the rest of their lives. Adopting these strategies will likely also help with the retention of students and subsequently perhaps even improve our graduation rate even more. As I mentioned earlier in this speech, Miami is ranked number 2 in the nation for undergraduate teaching. I have no interest in seeing Miami remain number 2. I'm not content with being in the top 5 or even the top 10. In fact, I'm not even believing in complacency. I want Miami to be number 1 in the nation for undergraduate excellence. I want to see Miami continue to compete with the best institutions of higher education in the United States. Currently, we are ranked behind Dartmouth and tied with Princeton. In my mind, the biggest difference between Miami and Dartmouth isn't that Dartmouth is an Ivy League institution or is an old university. We have long been recognized as a university of academic excellence, and we have our own long institutional history we can be proud of. One of the key differences between Miami and Dartmouth is the vast discrepancy between the sizes of our endowments. Dartmouth's endowment is valued right at $3 billion. Miami's endowment is around $315 million, which shows that large difference between the two of us is really a matter of re-engaging and a matter of getting our alumni to re-engage and support our university after they graduate. In order to help grow our endowment and subsequently continue to compete with the best universities in the United States, we are going to need to do a better job of facilitating support from our alums. The Miami Legacy Initiative is an attempt to do just that. The Secretary of Alumni Affairs position, the reforms we're proposing in the first and second year programs have the potential to help Miami students begin to think about the responsibilities of being a Miami alumnus. The first substantive exposure Miami students have to the Miami Alumni Association occurs at the annual graduation fest. For those of you who are lucky enough to know, who are lucky enough not to know what graduation fest is, this is an annual event that occurs each year where seniors can pick up their graduation robes, honor cords, buy a class ring, and sign up for the Alumni Association. Before this event, the last time students heard about becoming a Miami alumnus was probably at orientation or maybe convocation. After graduation fest, there was little follow-up from the Alumni Association even after graduation. Miami must change this. Our institution cannot wait another year to begin developing a culture of annual giving or engendering an expectation for some kind of support from our alumni or from our students after graduation. We need to help students understand they must reinvest in the value of the Miami degree or reinvest in their degree, much like one reinvests in a stock or a company. Specifically, I believe the administration needs to do a lot more to connect young alumni back with the university. While I'm fully aware that young alumni might not have a great capacity to give money back, we cannot simply disconnect from our young alums for 20 years and then call them and ask them for a donation when they have been disconnected and removed from Miami for so long. For the rest of our lives, the respect of our educational background will be influenced by the reputation of Miami University. The Miami Legacy Initiative is an attempt to preserve and enhance the value of the Miami degree. I recognize that soliciting alumni donations and creating a strong culture of annual giving is not a standard practice for public universities. In the past, public universities like Miami have not had to rely on their alumni for financial support because public universities were largely subsidized by state governments. For over 200 years, the Ohio taxpayer has been subsidizing Miami's expenses. Personally, I do not think it is wise for Miami to continue to rely upon the state of Ohio to help us maintain our costs. I argue that although we are a public university, it is long past due to begin adopting some private school practices in the area of alumni support. I'm not trying to make an argument to privatize Miami. I want to make that very clear. I'm not trying to argue that we should be a private university, but rather I'm trying to argue that if we are going to continue to compete with the best institutions, the best private schools in the country, such as Princeton, Yale, and Dartmouth, we are going to need additional support from our alums. We cannot continue to depend upon the state of Ohio to help us sustain that level of competition. Governor Kasich has already proposed a nearly $10 million cut to Miami's budget, and I suspect that this trend will continue over the next few years. Miami alums have been thrilled with the recent rankings and the overall positive attention we have been receiving because it reflects well upon them. One Miami alumni would be proud to say that a survey of high school counselors conducted by Parade Magazine ranks their alma mater as one of the best public undergraduate universities in the country. I am just as thrilled that we are receiving those rankings and we are competing at that higher level. What I'm concerned with is trying to sustain and maintain that level of competition, continuing to build upon these successes. While we can't totally control our rankings, and we may not even end up on any great list next year, we should remain focused on doing everything we can to make Miami the most competitive and one of the most well-respected universities in the country. Cultivating a culture of annual giving and building our endowment is one critical way of helping Miami compete with the best institutions of higher education in the country. But there are some things that we as students can do a better job of. As I just mentioned, our educational background and the quality of our education will be heavily influenced by the state of Miami's reputation. Our university's reputation as an institution of academic excellence is currently being called into question. The reason the quality of our university's reputation is being called into question is not because of anything President Hodge has done or the faculty or the administration, but rather is sometimes because of the behavior of our own students. Last spring, our Greek community embarrassed everyone affiliated with Miami. Most of the negative media attention took place over the summer, and a lot of students were not paying attention. However, that doesn't mean the rest of the country wasn't. The ridiculous behavior of a few of our sorority formals made headlines in the Washington Post, USA Today, the Los Angeles Times, MSNBC, and countless others. Our university was the punchline for jokes on radio shows and on blog websites all over. It was a tough time for everyone in the Miami community. I have been a member of the Alpha Chapter of Beta Theta Pi in our Greek community for 3 years now. I know about the great things that the Greek community does, and I know that we can hold ourselves to a higher standard. The Greeks need to be leaders on this campus and work to regain the respect that we have lost in the community. I don't want to single out the Greeks, though, because the reality is that they are not totally to blame. Miami is known as a work hard, play hard kind of school. What I'm asking all of us to do, what we all need to do, is simply work harder and play smarter. None of us should ever want to see Miami on those top 10 lists of best party schools. Miami students want to be taken seriously by the most successful professionals working out there. As students, we have to work incredibly hard to graduate, and we are investing a lot of resources and energy to go to school here. Why would we work so hard to get a degree that isn't respected by the best graduate programs, medical schools, law schools, or employers in the nation? I'm not advocating that Miami students not enjoy themselves or anywhere else. Or anything else like that. All I am challenging us to do is to play smarter and not embarrass ourselves or the university that we represent. I would hate to think that the first thing people think of when they hear Miami University is Green Beer Day. We can keep that tradition to ourselves without letting it define our student body. I'm not asking us to stop partying or stop going out. We just need to be aware of how our actions reflect the reputation of our education. If you don't want to do it for Miami, at least do it for the sake of the reputation of your own educational background. I also believe that we can do more as students to take ownership of our education. I see so much potential in so many of my peers, and I oftentimes feel as if we are not unlocking our own potential. Our university offers outstanding opportunities such as studying abroad, engaging in undergraduate research, or taking a leadership role on in a student organization. There are so many of us, though, for some reason, that choose not to partake in these kinds of high-impact activities. I believe students need to recognize that it's our responsibility to seek out these opportunities. No one person is going to hold our hands through our college careers and tell us exactly what path we should take. It is up to each one of us to do that on our own. Miami students need to be empowered to take ownership of their education and seize opportunities for their personal growth, professional, and self-development. I appreciate that we have more students engaging in activities such as studying abroad or undergraduate research than many other universities in this country. But I'm not concerned with those other universities. I care about working to ensure that Miami students are getting the most of their Miami experience. I want to challenge those students who are disengaged to get out of the room, wake up a little earlier, and get out there and make the most of the time as a student. Before you know it, graduation day will be upon you, and you don't want to be left regretting not getting involved. Having a sense of ownership of one's education and taking full advantage of all that Miami offers is the key to having a fulfilling college experience. As Miami looks to tackle the challenges ahead, I hope that we will be able to come together as a community to work to preserve and enhance what is best about Miami. Undoubtedly, addressing the budget challenges will be difficult for our university. But we cannot simply expect our Board of Trustees, President Hodge, and the administration to solve our university's most complicated problems. We must recognize that we all play a role in improving Miami, and that collectively, we are the answer to Miami's toughest challenges. Take, for example, Miami's ongoing struggle to improve campus diversity. Yes, the administration must continue to recruit from a more diverse pool of applicants, and we need to take steps to build a better infrastructure to support our international students once they arrive here. However, we as a community must recognize that we play an important role in creating a more accepting environment for people of all different backgrounds. No amount of institutional policies or procedures will be able to impact the community at large if we do not come together to try and make accepting people of diverse backgrounds a priority for us. We can bring people to Miami from all different demographics of the country and the world. But until our community adopts a culture that is accepting of these diverse backgrounds, our university will continue to struggle to make everyone feel welcome. I believe addressing challenges with diversity requires everyone in the Miami community to work towards a solution. We can't simply look to changing university policies as our solution. One of Miami's greatest strengths is the Miami family. We have people all across the country who are deeply committed to making Miami a better place. We have individuals who didn't even go to school here, but are nevertheless dedicated to our institution. The greatest Miamians are those who commit themselves to improving Miami. One past Miami president who sticks out in my memory is Dr. Phil Schreiber. For over 30 years, Dr. Schreiber worked to make Miami University one of the best in the nation, and we are still benefiting from his work today. It is my personal hope that one day all incoming Miami students will read Dr. Schreiber's A Personal History of Miami University, so they may better understand where Miami has been and where we can go in the future. Now, I'm not worried about Miami in the least. We will persevere through these budget challenges and these other challenges, just as we persevered through the closing of our university following the Civil War, and just as we answered the challenges posed by the Great Depression. If everyone in the Miami community can come together to sacrifice and to help make Miami better, then there is no limit to what our university can achieve. All we need is a leadership from the university to empower us and set the vision for where we are going. My dream is for Miami to one day be known as the best undergraduate institution of higher education in the United States, and undoubtedly, or rather undisputedly, the best in the nation. Undisputedly the best in the Midwest. As we begin to better market Miami, I hope that we will increase our selectivity and bring the most diverse and high-caliber student body here that we can. My vision for the future of Miami is one where our graduates can outperform those students who attend the most elite institutions of higher education. Eventually, those student leaders who I highlighted in the beginning of this speech will go on to do great things. The undergraduate student researchers we have at Miami today will one day be the great academics of the future. Our student athletes may leave their pads behind in the locker room, but they will undoubtedly continue to outdo their competition in their careers. The treasurer of a student organization today may one day become the chief financial officer of a major Fortune 500 company. No matter where we go in life or what paths we take, we all have one thing in common. We are Miamians. We all received a great education, earned a well-respected degree, and enjoyed the quintessential college experience. In 30 years, we may be standing in an airport and see a young group of Miami students who are wearing our university's logo. We won't question if they actually went to school here, because we know that only members of the Miami family generally go out and sport the Miami name. We won't have to worry about striking up conversation, because although we may have graduated decades apart, the Miami experience is timeless. There will always be Uptown, Miami trees in the fall, professors with tough classes, the Upper March, great athletics, red brick buildings, the seal, and of course, just the overall atmosphere of what it means to be a Miami student here. It is my hope that Miami students will continue to support our university long after they graduate, so that future generations of Miami students will have an even better experience here than we currently have. We are Miami. We will forever be Miamians, and we represent a remarkable university. Thank you for listening, and I will take a few questions from the audience.
How does the Secretary for Alumni Affairs position fit in with the rest of the fundraising efforts kind of already constructed previously by the university?
Sure. Well, the idea with the Secretary of Alumni Affairs position generated from a lot of discussions that I had with the Department of University Advancement, which is our Alumni Affairs office. And there's a lot of work to go around in that area of the university. And I wanted to think of ways that we could engage undergraduate students with our alumni efforts. We currently have Telehawks do an outstanding job. We have USEF. And I think that a lot of our student organizations aren't exposed to their alums or don't have a mechanism of contacting their alums. So the goal of this position is to help student boards track alumni or track students who are in their organization and begin to keep a list of those students. So 10 to 15 years from now, the current president of the League Club, the current president of the Black Student Action Association can be called upon to come back to Miami and talk about their experience or lend their expertise to that organization. Also, another key part of that position, as I mentioned in the speech, is to help educate Miami students about the responsibilities of being a Miami alumnus. Begin getting Miami students to think about what is life like post-Miami? What are my expectations, or what are the expectations the university has for me as an alum? So that's what the Secretary of Alumni Affairs position is largely supposed to do. But I think that the first thing that this position will have to do is reconnect ASG alums back with ASG so they can begin developing a framework to help other student organizations do the same thing.
Yeah, what do you think can be done to improve the first year experience?
Well, the first year experience is the most important time, I think, for Miami students. When a student comes in, they're expecting a lot. They don't know what to think about college. They don't know how to handle this whole thing about time management. They just came from high school where you were on bells and bell 1, bell 2, or however it was done in your high school. And your schedule is very regimented. And all of a sudden you show up on campus and it's like, wow, I can do almost anything I want with my time here. So when I was talking during the speech about the first year experience, it wasn't so much just about instilling institutional pride or just institutional history, but really setting expectations for what it means to be a Miami student while they're on campus. Expectations for social conduct, but also expectations of what it means to be a Miami. I think students are looking for direction in terms of what they're supposed to be doing to make the Miami experience the best it can be. And I think that we can focus our programming in the first and second years, specifically with residence halls and the Office of Residence Life, to make that happen. So that's where I think we can improve the first year experience the most.
What do you think is one of the greater obstacles that Miami was going to have to face in the future as students? What do you think we can do to face that?
Sure. Well, I think that no matter what Miami does, no matter where Miami will be in the future, we're going to be competing. And I hope that we're competing at the highest level. And what I mean by that is competing against institutions that we bench ourselves against. And that we are outperforming those universities. So I think that students have to recognize that we all play a role in making this happen, that we all control our university's reputation and our capacity to compete with these universities. It's not so much just the curriculum we have, but Miami students need to engage as much as they can, make the most of their Miami experience, and then show people what they did when they were students here. Market what we did when we were students here, so that prospective students and employers and other universities can see and they can say, wow, this is what the Miami experience is all about. This is what Miami students do. That's an impressive institution. They got an excellent education and they really developed themselves there. Now, irrespective of whatever challenges we face, whether it be budget challenges, internal challenges, as long as we are ensuring that our students are maximizing their education, working as hard as they can, as hard as we can, and doing our best to bring respect to our institution, that's only going to elevate Miami. each one of us should care deeply about where Miami is and where it's going, because for the rest of our lives, like I said in the speech, we're going to be associated with Miami University. We want to know that the reputation of our educational background is going to be well respected. I guess a point to further hammer this home would be, for example, if you are working in a company and you want to be promoted to CEO, or you want that big promotion, and the committee reviewing you is looking back at your educational background. When they see Miami University, you want the first thing that they think to be, wow, that guy or that girl went to a really good school. You got a good undergraduate education. That might be all they think of. That might be it. But the key is that we want to make sure that's what comes through their mind. That we know that our students and their success are being marketed, and that we're doing the best we can to improve Miami and compete, no matter what the other challenges are. Ensuring that we're doing the best for students and making the decisions that we make as the university should always be focused on, is this decision what's in the best interest of the student body? Because at the end of the day, it is us as students who will influence the future of Miami University more than any other demographic of the institution.
As a member of the Greek community, and in light of the recent sorority events, how do we rehab our image with the administrators?
What is the perception of the image of the administration?
Well, how do we rehab our image with the
Rehab.
administrators?
I think that it takes us living up to our values. Those of us who are Greek in the room, whether we pledge one fraternity or another or a sorority, the reality is that most of our pledges are similar. We believe in cultivating young men and women and building them up. We believe in the values of leadership and community service. What we have to do as a Greek community is demonstrate that we genuinely do believe in those values. Last spring, earlier last semester, a all-black fraternity on campus chose to volunteer at the Freedom Center and walk the entire Underground Railroad from the Freedom Center up to Oxford. They did this to volunteer. They weren't involved in the incident that happened at the Freedom Center last spring, but they chose to take steps to rectify the reputation. They chose to take steps to demonstrate that they are committed, and they are committed to their values, and they are genuinely interested in doing what they say they stand for. I think the Greek community has one simple way of rehabbing its reputation, and that is to live up to its own expectations. This can be done. It just takes all of us building each other up. And I'll make one important point. I believe the Greek community is only as strong as its weakest link, which is a common phrase, but I believe it's especially true within our Greek community. We can have one great Alpha chapter or one great chapter over here, but if we have one chapter that's struggling with recruitment, one chapter that's struggling with maintaining membership standards, we shouldn't have one chapter pointing at them and saying, gosh, they can't get their stuff together, or man, that chapter is just awful. Really, those chapters who are doing well, those most successful chapters, need to step up and say, how can we help you be better? Instead of accentuating or exacerbating the problem by letting those chapters suffer, what can the chapters who are doing things right do to help those other chapters? The key is that those chapters who are struggling need to welcome that help. And one final point about the Greek community, I believe we need to do more to support and recognize the hard work that those advisors do for those Greek organizations. It's a thankless job, and they're not often recognized. So I think we as a university can do more to say congratulations, or at least say thank you to those Greek advisors who spend so much of their time and effort advising those Greek organizations. But I think, once again, the key point is that we're going to rehab our image with the administration, with the community, and with the Miami community as a whole, with the Greek community simply to live up to its values and help each other out. Okay, those are great questions. I just want to say before we close that, David.
As an out-of-state student, how can we better market our university to attract more students of a high caliber from out of state?
Okay, that's an excellent question. The university's been working hard on this recently to better market Miami. So it's not as if I'm saying the administration is doing nothing. That's just not the case. The administration is working very hard currently to better market Miami, and we've begun implementing a new branding strategy and things like that to make that a reality. But we got to do more of it, and we got to be intentional when we do it. I think that we need to effectively communicate what the Miami experience is to out-of-state students. And most importantly, we need to show out-of-state students from California to Utah to New Hampshire why coming to Miami and paying the amount of money it costs to go to Miami out of state is worth more, and they will receive a better education than they would from their own state schools within their own state. So really, Miami's competition at this level, I believe personally, is challenging because we're competing for out-of-state students with the state institutions that they already have. So I think that we just need to continue to market Miami more. And in terms of recruiting the most high caliber out-of-state students, well, I think that just comes down to the admissions process and ensuring that we are targeting students who work hard in high school, not necessarily scoring the best scores, their ACT or SAT scores, but those students who are working hard, who are committed to success, and can add value to the Miami experience. But I believe that out-of-state students are certainly one of the key features of Miami in the future. We're going to have to increase more out-of-state students, which is one of the key recommendations in the task force report. Increase our out-of-state enrollment and increase our international student enrollment. When it comes to out-of-state students, I think we need to do a better job of getting Miami's name out there, and I do believe we're in the process of that currently. So that's good news for Miami. I will say, in addition with the point about international students, one thing that I often dealt with this year, or a lot of students have been talking to me about, international students in particular, they've been worried about the level of support they're getting from the university once we bring them here. So I'm challenging the university administration to do a better job of developing infrastructure to support our international students who come from different parts of the world. Making sure that we have academic advisors who can speak to them in their native language and explain some of that complex vocabulary that even current Miami students don't understand. For example, what does it mean to take class credit, no credit, as opposed to standard letter? So that's hard to even explain to current students. I can only imagine what we'll be trying to explain to a student who speaks a different native language. So just ensuring that when it comes to international students, we're doing what we can to support them so they can make the most of their Miami experience as they deserve. Okay, so a couple of things. One thing before we break, I want to thank everyone again for coming. I want to thank President Hodge and Mrs. Hodge for being here. I really appreciate that. And the rest of the administration. I also want to thank Don Kramer, the chair of the Board of Trustees, for taking the time to come out here tonight. I think it's a testament to their dedication to listening to students and making sure that they are making the best decisions they can on behalf of the student body. And I thank you all for being here. It's been a pleasure to be your student body president. It's certainly been one of the greatest honors of my young life. And this Thursday, the election is happening for my successor. So if all of you could tell your friends, your student organizations you're a part of to vote. Voting will be 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. on Blackboard. I'm looking forward to transitioning my successor so that we can continue to build upon whatever legacy I may leave and continue to ensure that Miami will be one of the best institutions of higher education in the United States and certainly one of the best undergraduate universities in the world.